Like Israel, Istanbul stood at the junction of continents, and thus was highly contested by many powers of the region. The Greeks founded the city in 660 BCE in the area of the Golden Horn and named it Byzantium. The Romans took over 800 years later, and in 330 CE, it became the de facto capital when Emperor Constantine moved his palace here. He recognized Istanbul's strategic importance both militarily, against the barbarian and Persian incursions, and economically, in the Mediterranean and Black Sea trade. Eventually, the Roman Empire split up into East and West. As the West slowly disintegrated, the East, or the Byzantine Empire, reached its peak under Emperor Justinian. It eventually fell to the Ottomans in 1453, who brought Islam to the region. The Ottomans ruled the land for almost 500 years until its breakup after World War I, and thus came the country Turkey. To allow the rapid expansion of civilization, many cisterns were built to secure water. The biggest and best preserved one of them all is the Basilica cistern. Justinian built the cistern in 532 CE, and it can hold over 80,000 cubic meters of water. It has 336 pillars, one of which is known as the Column of Tears. It's a tribute to the hundreds of slaves that died during its construction. Now, walking through this echoey chamber with the changing floodlights, I can only imagine how eerie it was for the ancient water boys to boat around in the dark while keeping the cistern clean. Above ground, all of the Roman Empire's mighty power was showcased at the Hippodrome. It is an 80,000 square meter chariot racing arena with over 40,000 seats, built by Constantine. Only parts of the wall remain today. He and later emperors erected monuments such as the serpent column, the obelisk of Theodosius, and the walled obelisk to show off their achievements. The races were so seriously taken that in 532 CE, a huge riot that started from team rivalry almost cost Emperor Justinian's life. The famous Nika riot burnt down the city, including the old church, the Hagia Sophia, originally built by Constantine. Justinian stamped out the riot with the help of some really smart people and was able to consolidate power and rebuild the town, including the Hagia Sophia. The Hagia Sophia was the largest cathedral for over 1,000 years and was an engineering marvel that transformed architecture, as it was the first to support a circular dome over a square room. Even when the Ottomans took over the city in 1453, they were too impressed to destroy it. They added some minor changes and turned the Hagia Sophia into a mosque. It remained the principal mosque of Istanbul for the next 150 years until the construction of the Blue Mosque. Sultan Ahmed was only 13 when he inherited the throne. He didn't win any of the wars he had to fight, but he would go on to build the last great mosque of the classical period with 20,000 blue tiles, hence the name the Blue Mosque. It was practically the only major achievement of his short 14-year reign. It has 5 main domes, 8 secondary domes, and 6 minarets. It is rumored that he told the builders to build golden minarets, but it was misheard as 6, as Alti is gold and Altan is 6. Whoops! The only other mosque at the time with 6 minarets was the Grand Mosque in Mecca. So Ahmed had to build another minaret at the Grand Mosque to not be arrogant. Sadly, we didn't get to see the inside of the Blue Mosque as it is under restoration, but the views outside was impressive. To get a bird's eye view of all the architectural achievements in Istanbul, we climbed the Galata Tower in the Beyoğlu district, across the Golden Horn from the Old City. In 507 CE, before Justinian was an emperor, he built the 63-meter-tall tower as a lighthouse and fire lookout. On top of this vantage point, you can get a complete view of the Old City, the Beyoğlu district, and the Asian side. That's when we fully appreciated just how big Istanbul was and how rich the Ottoman Empire once was, as there are countless grandiose mosques dotting the landscape. The view was so great that a seagull decided it was a fine place for her to raise her 3 eggs. Given Istanbul's location at the intersection of Asia and Europe, trade has always been an essential part of economy. The Grand Bazaar, one of the world's largest and oldest covered markets, was built by the Ottomans in 1461 and still attracts hundreds of thousands of shoppers daily. We had envisioned it to be hectic like in Marrakesh, but we were pleasantly surprised by how clean and orderly the market was. Still, we were amazed by how many stores there were selling everything from carpets to decorations to spices. My mother thought this was a good place for us inexperienced American kids to practice our bargaining skills, and she taught us some tricks. We put it to practice and told our sob stories, waved our money in front of the sellers, and we even bought a mini carpet and a chess set at all a huge discount from the original price. But the real master of bargaining is Miss Amy, who bought carpets at 1/3 of the original price. We still have got a lot to learn. The Spice Bazaar next to the Grand Bazaar is the place to be if you want Turkish street food. Our favorite was the boat-shaped pizza made by this family. We loved the spice and savor of the pizza with a side of roasted chili peppers. For dessert, the famous Turkish Delight had us lost in desire as there were so many choices. We tried a little of each one, but still ogled at the rest untasted. But to be thoroughly entertained by our dessert, we had to find a Turkish ice cream stand.
Only lemon? Only lemon? Yeah, take it. And only lemon? Yeah. Okay. Hoppa. Maşallah Tosun abi. Okay. How are you? Taste right.
The ice cream had a snotty texture, but it was the experience that we came for. Istanbul was educational and entertaining for us, but we left a lot unexplored after only 3 days. This just means that I have to go back another time in the future.